Hey, here we are. It's Wednesday night, and we got our buddy Alec
What's
from
up?
AR Comics. What's up, buddy? How you adjusting so far to life back in the Northeast?
There's a lot of people take COVID a lot more serious around here. I don't know if I guess maybe it is a bigger problem than it is out there, but
Well,
man,
there's
it's
more of us.
there's a lot
More of
more
us,
people
more
over here.
yeah,
But
more
I,
densely
I,
populated.
I don't think I've seen so many people wear masks. I'll say that much.
I don't think you've
Eh,
seen this many people in a while. So we got JD Berry in the house. What's going on, JD? Dave, our buddy Dave Cerrone, Triple B. All right. So those that may not have joined AR's show yesterday, we're trying something new. So we are shooting from Casa de Wang, and on top of now, this is not made for any kind of broadcast. Just a short-term thing, hopefully. So I am working from home this week. So we're still able to do it thanks to technology and our producer, Kyle. We're going to make his life a little bit more interesting today because he's going to have to do that Brady Bunch, frame thing. We got Ronald in the house. We got Lars, man. That's right. And Kyle's
Yeah, a
home
lot
too.
of
He's
good
having car
people.
problems. Yeah, so he's shooting from home too. So the wonders of technology, I guess, if you look at it that way. So I mean, we're still gonna have some stuff. I told because I wasn't sure how this was gonna work. This is the first time we've done everybody remote. Usually I'm in with John or Nick or Amy or sometimes a combination of the four of us. So this is the first time we're kind of doing this remotely. So we'll see how it goes. Um, any interesting controversy in the comic universe about spam, football, whatever you want. If viewers, the choice is yours. But for Ron, there is a statue tonight, my friend. I don't know if we run
Nice.
it before. We may have. I mean, we don't make as many statues as we make comics. So I'm not sure if we're getting to the bottom of the barrel there, but if so, maybe somebody who wanted one can get one this time.
Hey, remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about football with the Eagles? I said, hey, if they
Yes.
go on a little streak, they might sneak into the playoffs. And I mean, they got it. They clinched.
Yeah, they did. They did.
I'm pretty
Unfortunately,
surprised. I'm going to be honest.
unfortunately, I completely missed Rock and Robbie this week because everything kind of unfolded real quick, and then I wasn't home, and then or I wasn't in the office, and we had to figure out how we were going to do this. So we kind of just took Monday off to kind of figure it out. But it is what it is. I guess let me see. Let me look at the sheet because it's all been via email. So Amy and I have been talking on the phone and stuff. She is actually driving home and will probably log in at some time to help me keep track. Um, Let me see. JD says, nice. I can actually see Rex's face instead of a baseball cap with a mouth. you
Yeah,
made Rex.
I
You
was
made
actually going to
regret it
make a
after a couple
comment on that
hours.
too.
What's that?
I was going to make a comment on that too. I was going to say, I don't think I've ever actually seen like your full face. It's always
We
just
may,
been
we
like the
may,
hat.
we may actually, yeah, we may actually invest in. And we're supposed to move in the library, and I know that the IT guy's been kind of backed up. This whole pandemic thing screws up everybody's schedule.
Oh,
So
I
he's
know.
waiting for pieces to come in, which are of course affected by the supply chain, to finish it up. So the big screen's up there. But the good news is, because I'm sitting here, my laptop's within reach. Dave, there will be no problem me following the chat today. Okay. This is approximately the same size screen. My home laptop is the one I have at work, but I'm way closer, so I'll be able to see everything. All right. So and Nilo's in the house. Let me see here. Oh,
Yeah, we
and
got
Kyle says the
BBB,
statue's nice.
Dave,
What's that?
NE, JD. Yeah, we got a lot of good heads already in the house. Hope
We
everyone's having a
do.
good
We
night
do.
tonight.
So there were some things we were talking about yesterday that were interesting. NFTs and crypto, and Dave
Yeah,
brought
it's
up a
good
couple of really,
conversation.
yeah,
I didn't really
actually.
have anything to say about it though.
Well, actually, that it started off because Dave came up. What did Dave? Do you remember what Dave's initial question was?
I think it was something along the lines of, or I don't think it was a question. I think it was more of a statement. I was gonna say if he's in the house, he definitely would say it right. But I think it was something along the lines of like the newer generation, like the NFT, the digital stuff,
Oh yes,
really
yes,
works
yes.
out more with
That's how
them.
we drifted. Yes. See, we drift so much sometimes I can't even keep track of it anymore. All right, you know what? Just to get it out of the way, we always do. Uh, we're gonna
Or
talk about
digital comics, Dave said.
That's right. That's right.
Not
It was
NFTs.
not just NFTs. You're right. Thought I was in the wrong place for a second there. You missed Stevie B. You missed the football talk. We were AR and I already covered it. We don't want to be arrogant. Okay, let's call it what it is. The Eagles scraped their way into the playoffs. All kinds of things had to happen that day. That didn't look like it was actually going to happen at first. I mean, the Bucks and the Jets, it's that close. I mean,
what a weird game
sorry,
that
Stevie
was.
B. I really just said that. I'm sorry. I'm a little wacko right now. I've been stuck in it feels like the beginning of the pandemic. I've been stuck in my house with my 21-year-old daughter, and I sent Ron an email today saying he should send his wife over here to tase me, because I may not mind it so much. Give me an excuse to go to the hospital, get out of here. Although that's probably not the healthiest place to be anyway. So
at this point, probably not.
Yeah, no doubt, right? So Stevie B, sorry about the Jets, but they look better. I mean, that's all I can say. So, all right, right off the bat, we get the Dynamite 10-pack reader set out of the way. 10 random Dynamite titles, with a cover price of $3.99 or higher, so retail of $40, and as always, we have it for $5. If you buy more than one, we're going to try to mix it up so there aren't duplicates. But if you buy too many, and I know a lot of our viewers have been repeat buyers of this. We do our best. I just can't guarantee it after a certain point. That I can mix it up, keep the mix fresh. But so what Stevie B said? Jets.
Yeah, sounds like a win.
That's the game. It was.
If anything, I'll take that as a win because we got to see what happened with Antonio Brown. That was a win of itself.
That was okay. That was all right. So we got to take a minute to talk about that. That was just bizarre. Okay.
Did they ever say what happened or what came out?
Right now they're saying what's coming out of Antonio Brown's camp is that he had an injured ankle and said he couldn't play. And Arian said, well, if you're not going to go in when we tell you to go in, you're off the team. Okay. But given that we're talking about Arians who beyond the fact that, okay, there's still be some question of how great a coach he is in his history. I think he's a great coach, but it's arguable. But certainly he's no Urban Meyer. He doesn't go out there and get himself in trouble.
Oh my God, he's an idiot.
Straight line, right? And so this is what he says. So Antonio, on the other hand, well, his track record isn't really that good, okay, as we know.
No.
All right. I mean, within the last year, okay, I think the guy's got a problem. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, obviously, another $1 million if you just finished out the season? Just keep your shirt on. Just go. They probably wanted to use him as a decoy. What's going on, Kyle?
There was a story that he was 8 catches short of a $300,000 bonus.
Yep,
and
I was reading that too.
The ball to him. So he's like, you got to throw the ball to me. I got to get this bonus. And they're like, we're going to throw the ball to who's open.
Now that sounds like some truth right there. Okay. Now that sounds like
AB
Brown Act.
This kid I've never heard of had a game that, like, literally I picked him up for this week in fantasy football. And he won me my fantasy football league. That receiver that they kept throwing to at the end there.
It really, I got to tell you.
That's pretty funny.
Something's up with the guy, whether you call it CTE, whatever. I mean, something's going on with him. This is not normal. This is not,
no.
He may be upset, whatever, and be that as it may, but right, never done before, right in the middle of a game. Okay. You take off your pads, you take off your jersey, you take off every shirt you have, and you storm off the field waving to the crowd. This is not the act of a normal person. I mean,
this dude, he started running, he was jumping. I was watching that like, what the hell's going on? And so what Kyle was saying too, I was reading a few things that he was like extremely close to, I think three different bonuses. Like literally what you said, all he had to do was just basically finish everything out and he probably would have had it. But I mean, I gave him a little bit of props, not for that. But when everyone was like, oh, this dude's completely crazy when he was on the Raiders, and then all that stuff came out about John Gruden too, I was like, all right, well, maybe he wasn't all crazy. And then he was pretty fine on the Bucks for the most part. Oh, and then that happened.
He's there's something not right with the guy. So, all right. So Dave's annoyed by all the football talk. we did kind of take a left turn there because the Brown thing was just, I mean, that was just unheard of, never seen before. So Triple B says he'll walk away from $1 million. Yeah, who does that? Especially the way he's been burning through cash. But
Yeah.
be that as it may. All right, let me see here. All right, let's start off with a best offer book. So we got Black Bat #1, high-end Marcos Martin, Virgin Art Ultra Limited Edition cover. All right, suggested retail of $50, and it'll be a best offer book starting at 10.
Nice.
So let me see. And we did get a statue in there, but I will have to check because it is not actually on my sheet. But we did get a statue, and Kyle may even have the info. But I know that everybody was complaining there wasn't a statue on the previous show, so want to make sure we got one in.
Do we want the statue now?
Yeah, let's do the statue now.
Give
everybody. So let me see.
The statue is because Amy sent it to me differently. Frank Thorne, Red Sonja 45th anniversary collector statue. I don't have an on-air price for you, but MSRP on it is $249.99.
All right. I think every single time we've done it, best offer.
I think it's been a best offer.
Yeah, best offer at 50. So Kyle, we're just going to do a best offer at 50.
Sounds like a plan.
Have not cleared this with Nick actually. So this could be interesting.
So something I cleared with Nick New Year's Eve.
We're
going to do best offers on statues have to jump by $5.
All right.
So 50,
that works.
55, 60. None of the $1.
Lars Man is already at 100, so we don't have that problem. All right.
Did you say? 100. I can't remember. Did you say you talked to Nick today? Do you know how he's feeling?
Kyle may have.
I spoke to him Monday.
Yeah, I spoke to him. What's today? I spoke to him yesterday. So
I
he still sounded a bit under the weather. Dave's at 110. All right.
Perfect.
And so I don't really know. Oh, Preston's at 120. This is moving fast. He didn't sound too good. What are you gonna do? And it's really I don't know if he's been tested or not. I mean, but right now is the worst time to try to get a test. I mean, it's all over.
I was seeing that.
Yeah. On Monday, he sounded less froggy than he sounded on Friday.
Yeah,
he sounded really rough on Friday. I felt bad for him.
Yeah, I finagled a couple of home tests. Some friend of mine happened to have two, and she was nice enough to drop them off because I was having no luck. I mean, the first appointment I could get was the 12th, and then immediately after that, I went and on Amazon tried to order some, and I ordered a few, and it was like delivery. They've estimated as the 17th. So, you know what
here is crazy about that because now you're talking about the tests and like the rapid test too. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know those existed. So when I got back here for the first time, the first thing I did with my shop, I ended up helping them with just some massive comic book collection. And then the next day I got a phone call and one of the guys was like, "Hey, someone you were with tested positive."
I'm sorry to continue your story in 1 second. Okay. All right, so Preston is the lead at 130. David jumped to 125, and so Preston's lead on statue at 130. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
No, you're good. And they said, go get a test done and then come back, assuming it's negative. I was like, a test where? Like, what do you do? I've never had a test done before. And they're like, really? I was like, no, that's just never happened. They said, go to, Walgreens or whatever, pick up a rapid test. Showed up to Walgreens. They had a massive thing of rapid tests. I grabbed one and left. And they were like, did you find one? I was like, yeah, negative. We're good. And since that day, I've been hearing, my friends, family, you're talking about it. Oh, yeah, they're so hard to come by. You can barely get this and this. I'm just like, man, I guess I just got super lucky. Didn't even know they existed. Showed up. They had a massive pile of them.
I think the max that you can buy at one time is like 6 or 8 or something like that. You should have picked them up. You could sell them on eBay now.
I didn't even know like they existed, and I just was like, "Hey, do you have like a rapid test for COVID?" Yes, we do, right here, and it was just like a whole display, and everyone at the shop was like, they're borderline impossible to get them. It was
That
an
was in
entire
this area.
thing.
That was
Uh,
when after you moved.
Allentown. Yeah, right here,
Okay, all
Allentown,
right,
Pennsylvania.
man.
I
And what's crazy is my friends told me they haven't been able to get them like anywhere, and I was like, oh, I just kind of showed up, and
All
I
right,
was
Lars
lucky.
Man is up to 140 on the statue. Man, you should have grabbed some, dude. Too
Yeah, I
bad.
had no idea. I would have.
Yeah, no, they're at a premium right now. So
That's crazy.
yeah, it's new reality. It's you can't really get angry about it. You can't really let it get you too down. Again, I'm getting a little stir crazy. Curbside. So I tested negative. But my daughter tested positive. So out of an abundance of caution, I don't want to go to work and get other people sick.
I don't blame you. That's a smart
Yeah.
call.
So but there's certain things I can't do. I think I mentioned it yesterday on your show. A good portion of our editorial staff has been working remote, but their jobs, it kind of works. So we set up an FTP site, and they're transferring huge files back and forth, artwork, copy, whatever. A lot of what they can do can be done remote. But literally, when I pick out items for the show, I literally go through long boxes. And, the practicality of having somebody deliver like all that stuff to my house doesn't make much sense. So I kind of have to physically be there. And I kind of I got to be honest with you, I kind of like going to the office. It's pretty empty now, so it's not like we're shoulder to shoulder. And I find I work better when I can get up in the morning and go somewhere. Whereas when you're at the house, there's always something. I'm like, I've been putting this off for 3 months. I really should take care of that. It's just hard. I don't know. I'm old school. I need to physically go somewhere to work, in my opinion. But you never know.
I totally feel you on that. I mean, I have my schedule. I wake up, I go to the gym, and then the way that things have been now with working at the comic shop, because basically I'm just doing auctions for them, is I show up maybe 2 times, 3 times a week. I'm there for a few hours, and they're really cool with it. They say, take whatever you want. Just let us know kind of what you're grabbing. Like, go through all the boxes, all the bins, whatever you want off the wall.
Right.
Put it in long boxes, load it up, and just store everything at your house. And then it's been 2-3 times a week I'm doing auctions for them. And like tomorrow I have one I'm going to do. Friday morning I'm just going to drop all the books off and set it all up again. It's been a lot of fun doing that.
Right. So Preston is up to 145 on the statue. I just wanted to mention that. And you know what? Let's knock so Lars Man says, I work from home other than travel and trade show. I think everybody is starting to do that now. All right. So we've had this on in the past. Let me make sure. Doctor Strange, number 55. I remember it was in really nice condition. So that's an actual scan of it. We have one. This is a buy it now. Okay. For $10. Whoever claims it, claims it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's I don't think anybody can really tell you what the future holds. I mean, it's inconvenient, all right, but it's not
right now. It is.
Yeah, it's not crippling. At least not in my day to day. I mean, again, getting locked down, with an adult child can sometimes be challenging. The just thinking of things that you would normally do, you can't do right now. There is
now. Do you have a Wegmans in your area?
Oh yeah, we got tons of Wegmans. Okay,
I was gonna say because
we live in New Jersey, my friend. Did you know that New Jersey?
I don't know.
No, New Jersey is the densest state in the country, meaning per capita, there's more New Jerseyans, okay, driving up and down the turnpike in the Garden State Parkway than there is in any other part of the country. Even little tiny states like Delaware and Vermont and whatever. Yeah, we're packed shoulder to shoulder. I used to drive 8 miles. I used to drive 8 miles to my office and pass like 5 towns. That's the one thing. New Jersey, we love making borders and calling us another town. Okay,
I believe it.
Yeah, literally, it's crazy. So
when I went to college, that was a huge thing too. Like when people, because I went to Westchester, so when people from Jersey would show up, and they'd ask someone else like, "Oh, you're from Jersey? Where at?" And they'd say like, North Jersey or just like, Central Jersey. And then the other two would chime in, "Oh, Central Jersey, that's not real." And it's like, there's just so much there.
There is a definite differentiation between what's considered South Jersey and a North Jerseyan.
Oh,
So
I know.
North Jerseyans identify more with New Yorkers. Okay, so they're usually families that maybe work in the city, but the price, housing prices are so ridiculous, and the school system's so wacky. So a lot of people live in North Jersey, and even more criminal, they generally support the Giants. Okay, then you have South Jersey. Well, actually, a few of them support the Jets, but again, we've spoken about this before. You just feel bad for them. So then the South Jerseyans, it really is very different. So it tends to be more suburbia-like, I guess. We have a lot of just suburban type of towns. No real city environment to speak of. Like the township I live in, there's nothing really you would consider a city where you could walk around or anything like that. So there is a definite, and we tend to be Philadelphia Eagles fans, right? So there is a demarcation, and then there's those of Central Jersey that we act like don't really exist, So I'm not really sure. No, I kid, but Central Jersey is that what you consider Central Jersey depends on whether or not you're from North or South Jersey. That's what's interesting. Yeah.
From when I was at college, I mean, I'm telling you, there's literally fights between those people, North and South Jersey, and I think those are the most amount of fights I've ever seen. Is just they got into arguments.
Well, J.D. McIntyre says, and then they're Jersey Shoreians. That's true. Okay?
Yeah, that's a different breed.
Those that live right along the shore, and they believe them to be different than us North or Southern or Central Jerseyans. Okay, they have their own little universe and community. It's very interesting. The demarcation line for North and South Jersey. Okay, I will tell you very simply. Okay, you ask a person, what's that hammy-like breakfast food? And if they say pork roll, they're from South Jersey. If they say Taylor ham, they're from North Jersey. But it is exactly the same thing. All right?
It's pork roll though. That's the thing.
You say, well, I would say that there are a lot of North Jerseyans that would definitely disagree with you. I just got a DM from John Cole with his thumbs up. John cannot stand it when anybody calls it Taylor ham.
Okay? I feel the same way. I hate that. It's
all right,
pork
so
roll.
If you are familiar with this, okay, I know certain people. I know Dave might mind it. If you want to put in the chats whether it's pork roll or Taylor ham, I would be interested. All right, so you know what? Let's go to.
It's a monstrosity unto the Lord.
All right. Well, I'm just signing off now.
It's a monstrosity. Well, no, that's spam.
I wouldn't say I did. I didn't say I wouldn't eat it. It's a monstrosity. It's a tasty monstrosity.
Unto the Lord is spam,
oh, it's so delicious.
It's not pork roll.
It's a tasty monstrosity.
It is, quite honestly. If it's not good for you, it probably tastes good. It's just
that's how it always is.
Sick inverse rule of life. All right, so you know what? Let me see here. Boy, this is really a lot harder without Amy. I got to tell you guys that straight up. All right, you know what? Let's do Deadpool and the merch for money, signed and remarked by Adam and Rebecca Cleveland. All right, it's just retail of $89.99. One of our 5-star books at $50. So this is, you know what? Actually, we're calling it. It was Dave's suggestion, a CCA, comics cover art or commissioned cover art. I'm sorry. And Lars, man, is going to take. All right, you got it, Lars, man. So yeah, it's interesting. Those are the weird things that differentiate North and South Jersey. And then Central Jersey, I'm not sure. It's that Hamilton, Edison kind of area, Trenton area. So I don't know how they, we act like there's North Jersey, there's South Jersey, and of course there's Shoreians. They don't like us because we're seasonals. So we come during the summertime and, crowd up their islands and, muck up their towns and
make it disgusting.
What's that?
Make it even more disgusting.
Hey, now you know what? Except for some moments where stuff flows up on the Jersey Shore, it's actually not bad. Okay, I've seen worse. I've definitely seen worse.
Where's worse?
Well, let's see. Where is worse? I've seen some shoreline in San Francisco. It's not too great.
All right, I can accept that. I was gonna say I haven't been to the West Coast.
the man in the middle, who's a little fuzzy. We got to get you a better camera.
Well, I'm at
but
home,
you
so
have
I
a
don't
camera.
have the good. I don't have the good rig. I don't have the nice microphone or the camera or anything.
Oh, yes.
So the worst is here. Every year we have what we call the toxic algal bloom, which is algae that grows in our lake that if you drink it, it will poison you.
Ooh.
Where are you located?
Everybody loses. Ohio.
He's in Ohio.
Okay.
So it's not really a
Everybody
shore.
loses compared to here. It is. It's on Lake Erie.
Yeah, no, but when we say shore in New Jersey, well, here's what's weird.
Just because your definition of shore is regional doesn't mean it's
No,
not.
but
I'm not talking about a shore.
wait. Here's an interesting thing. So in both North and South Jersey, we say going to the shore if you plan to go to the coastline. But those that live there say go to the beach, just to be different than the rest of us. So New Jersey is the most crowded state in the United States. Okay. So what do? We find ways to differentiate ourselves from each other. That's what we do. Okay.
That is exactly what you do.
That's why it's a happy place here. Let me tell you.
Here
And
you
don't
don't
get me
go
started
to the
about the
beach
property
or to the
taxes.
shore. Here you don't go to the beach or to the shore because it's just like you might as well just go and become a Ninja Turtle. Like it's easier. You know, toxic sludge.
Didn't you guys call it going to the lake?
Yeah, you go to the lake, but you don't do any of that stuff. Just drink rat poison, I guess.
Hey, listen, I'm not always saying you should go get in the water there in New Jersey either, but there are days when they give you a warning. And look, Nick, he feels well enough to join us. Hey, Nick, what's going on? All right. So maybe, depending on how he's feeling, he may slash some prices. So I might have to do a quick recap after. Oh, it's break time. I'll do a quick recap after the break. Bring Nick up.
When we come back, can I request a book?
You certainly can.
All right. There's a CCA I want to see.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back.
When we come back, you call it.
All right. Cool.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Hey, we're back.
What's up?
All right. So Kyle had a request before we went to break on a CCA, formerly known as a remark or sketch cover. All right. So what do you want to do, Kyle?
Star Wars: The Force Awakens #1.
Cool.
The one with BB-8 on it, right? Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
I sort of remember these. It's a little different when they're not physically in front of you.
Are you guys Star Wars fans?
I am a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, I was a young man. I was a boy when the movie first came out. They used to have something called matinees
No, I know
during
what
the
that
weekdays
is.
during summer vacation. Dude, you go in there and it'd be like $1 to get in. And we watched Star Wars like I think that day. Overall, we watched it 13 times, spread across like 3 or 4 days. We kept going. We just kept going. You know, you'd be bored Wednesday. What do you guys want to do? Let's go to the movie theaters for matinee and watch Star Wars again. So, all right. So Preston is in. It's oh, thank goodness Kyle was on top of that. All right. So Preston is in on that one. So Preston, I got you down, buddy. So unfortunately, Star Wars, we didn't even get to talk about it. Force Awakens adaptation #1, signed and remarked by Ken Hazer with a BB-8 sketch, is claimed by Preston. It's a nice one, buddy.
Now
yeah. So go ahead. What were
I was
you
gonna say, so was the newest movie? I don't know which one it was. Whatever, that's not Disney Plus relating. Was it as bad as everyone said it was?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the problem is you make over the lifetime 9 movies. It starts to get, and then George Lucas got bought out obviously by Disney, so it kind of changed a little bit. I mean, in a real sense, but I don't know. It's like the new Matrix movie.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, it gets to a point where I think expectations just get so high that it's almost impossible that you're ever going to live up to it, And I think Star Wars was like that. Now, don't get me wrong; the middle trilogy was kind of, it wasn't fantastic. But do I regret watching it? No. Do I regret that they made it? No. Do I have a lot of helpful suggestions? Probably, but whatever the case may be. So,
is that middle one you're talking about with Darth Maul?
Yes, the one with Darth Maul. The first one I thought was pretty good, but
not bad.
It wasn't bad, but the Anakin Skywalker boy, I don't know. I don't know. It didn't work for me. Nick says he likes the middle trilogy better. I
grew up with that one though, so I have a little bit more of a bias towards it. I saw them all in the theaters, so
yeah, I would have to disagree with Nick, but. All right, I'm going to do a quick recap. All right, so we can bring Nick up to speed into the fold here. All right, so we had as always Dynamite 10 pack, suggested retail of $40, 10 random Dynamite titles. We have it as always for $5. We did Black Bat #1, high end Marcos Martin, Virgin Art Ultra Limited Edition cover, suggested retail of $50, and that's one of our best offer books at $10. So best offer at the end of the night takes it. Doctor Strange #55, we had it 10. And then, Deadpool was picked up by Lars Man. Star Wars was picked up by Preston. And then our Red Sonja Frank Thorne statue right now. Let me see. I thought I saw another. Hold on, I got to catch up. Boy, this is a lot easier when I'm sitting in front of the computer. I got to say that. Let's see. I missed it. Maybe I didn't. All right. I'm going to say.
Currently, it's at 150 with Lars Man.
Yeah, Lars Man was at 150. Okay, that's right. Okay, so there we go. Thank you, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, that's where we're at right now. So if you got anything, who knows? I don't know what kind of medication he's taking, so he might be loopy. So it's hard to say what he might do. But anyway, let's get to another book. Let's do the mega set. So we have the deluxe mega set tonight. Suggested retail of $280. We have it for $139.99. So 50% off. Includes Suicide Squad, King Shark #1, signed by Tim Seeley, Venom #22, signed in silver by Donnie Cates, Deadpool and the Merch for Money #1, signed and remarked. I'm gonna say that is Rebecca Cleveland or the Clevelands, perhaps. And then, my sheet cuts off. And then Batman: The Adventure Continues. I don't know what issue. I'm guessing #1, but it is a 9.8 guarantee.
I actually don't even have the mega pack on my list.
Yeah, that I think we may have added on
last second
before we sent the sheet to you. Let me see if I can So
Yeah, that Deadpool's incredible. My dad would
is.
absolutely love that. I was gonna say earlier, the one that Lars picked up, if no one was gonna claim that, I was gonna buy that for my dad. He's like one of the biggest Deadpool fans I've ever met.
Oh, well, you should have let us know that. I didn't know your dad was such a huge Deadpool fan.
Oh, he is
But
obsessed with
he's
Deadpool.
all right. So, and it's Mercs for Money, remarked by a CCA by Adam and Rebecca Cleveland, and then Batman: The Adventure Continues, #1, CGC guaranteed graded 9.8. So I found it. Yay! Here we go.
I heard the Batman and the Adventures Continue is pretty cool. I've never was able to get into that series. I missed all the early issues, but I heard a lot of really positive things about it.
So you get all 4 books tonight, 50% off for $139.99. And this is a buy it now item. So first person who claims it, it is theirs.
Nice.
And then you know what? Let's do a signed book. We have Infinite Frontier #1, signed by Joshua Williamson. Suggested retail of $49.99, and tonight we have it for $39.99. We have one at that price. So there we go. Thank you, Kyle. So I thought Dave brought up an interesting topic on your show the other day, yesterday. See, this is what happens when you're closing your time, so lose track of time. About whether or not comics will eventually, because of the younger generation, completely flip to a digital format. I guess kind of saying that the physical aspect of the book will no longer exist.
Now,
so go ahead.
I was gonna say, now for me, I know I've talked about it before too. I really don't like digital versions of it. I'd like to have it in my hand. I don't like to read it if it's on the computer, like, or a tablet screen. That's just not for me. But I think the only real turnoff, because I mean, I could deal with it, I could put up with it, but I think the major turnoff is that it's the same price as a physical copy. If they ever lowered the price, like say if the comic was $4, maybe it was $2, that would be, I think that would be the absolute game changer for a lot of people. It would, like, they wouldn't have to go out then. They could literally just get it on their tablet, on their computer, and it's less money. So you're saving gas, you're saving money in general. And I don't know. I think even then I might make the switch, but still tough.
Well, if they entice you to make the switch, I guess the question is, would you no longer buy the physical copy of the book?
I probably wouldn't. And I'm only saying that because I already am not a huge fan. I mean, even though I literally do, my whole channel is based on new comic book day stuff. I would 100% prefer to read everything in like a hardcover trade paperback format, because there's so many titles that are out that you get left on a cliffhanger. You got to wait a month. And now that cliffhanger, you kind of forgot what was really happening. So I like to read everything kind of together. Because I don't know, there's some things, like I was talking, pure example, the Immortal Hulk. So many issues of that, and I kind of forgot, like, oh, like, well, you've been building this up, and now I don't really remember what's going on. Like, if I just sat down and read all of these issues together, or maybe an entire arc together, I'd be like, wow, that's awesome. So one of those things.
I want to talk about something that Dave put up that I think is very relevant. But John Spilios is going to jump in on the, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining us.
He is absolutely right with that. And
hold on.
oh, you're good.
Yeah, no, I just want to get down. All right, so John Spilios is in the lead at 160 for the statue. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. All right, and Nilo, let's see. Okay. All right, so Nilo's saying, I think they will go digital, but then also switch to trade paperback for runs and make it more like the manga books that come out every few months instead of monthly. So Kyle says, I read books digitally every week for review, then I go out and buy the physical copy. Right, but I think that John Spilios, she has been fever-free since Sunday and feeling better. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. So she is feeling better now. It's just a matter of quarantine. So I'm probably making her feel worse because she's got to be with her old dad locked in the house here. But right now we're trying to not kill each other because she would definitely take me. But
now I can agree with Kyle on that one too, though.
But I guess the problem becomes, I think you kind of brought it up. I think the problem really kind of becomes everybody has a certain disposable amount of income that they can spend, weekly, whatever, monthly on their favorite hobby. So you bring up a relevant point. If they're going to charge me for digital and charge me for the print copy, then I'm forced to make a decision. Okay, because it doesn't make sense for me to buy both items, to kind of fill my need.
No.
So I guess that becomes a question. Go ahead, Kyle.
The way I think it'll go, if it goes anyway, is it'll go to a method similar to what we have with music now. So there will be services you can subscribe to where you can read Marvel for free for your monthly subscription fee digitally.
Right.
And then what'll happen is it'll be like vinyl and things that people collect now where it's, oh, I really like this record from this artist and they've got this CD pressing or they've got this vinyl pressing. Let me go out and buy the collector's edition for the things they like, but they're going to pay their subscription service every month to read their Marvel comics, read their DC comics, whatever, something like that is.
I would,
and I think that'll be the method they go to if they go to that. But the problem is, I don't think that the younger generation, and I mean, AR is, I think, the youngest here, but I'm a lot younger than the generation that is currently running comics. I think what you're going to see is that people younger than me are going to want to consume comics differently than anyone we know who wants to consume comics now. So to be able to look at it now is going to be a fool's errand.
Well, I guess ultimately the question becomes, and this is something that we touched on with AR yesterday on his show. I guess to summarize it, the question really becomes, does the physical copy of the book still have some sort of intrinsic value to the collector? Okay, we talked about how books changed and how music's changed, but I think what's relevant there, the difference there is that a book, listen, I mean, there are people that still go out there and buy first edition hardcover copies of, published long, whatever. I'm not a book collector, so I don't know the details of the hobby, but there are people who do that. But we all admit that there's small percentage, obviously, of book buyers. So then I told the story of how I transferred over from, and I'm very old school, and we joked about it. I don't even have a Venmo account. How I went from the physical book to Kindle, and the reason why I did that, and the reason I did that was a practical value. So you get on a flight. I would go visit my family. My daughter and I would go visit my parents, and that's a 16-hour flight to Taiwan. And for those trips, when I used to make that trans-Pacific trip, I have to pack a whole lot of paper bags. I had a carry-on that had nothing but paperback books in it. Because I'm not going to be able to buy books while I'm there, at least not in the language or with the selection that I would like. And it was something you have to really plan ahead for. And then Kindle came along, and now all of a sudden I can download all these books. I don't even have to worry about what my decision is until I reach the airport. Then log into Kindle and see, let me say, hit the app and let me see what books I want to download before I'm cut off. And I can get up 3 or 4 and go up there. And if I don't like one, I go to the next one, and then when I hit the ground, I'm going to have internet access again, and I'll just download more books. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
So it's the words, obviously, the story in the books that matter to most readers like myself. So, having to get rid of that physical burden of going to a Barnes and Noble or whatever bookstores used to exist back then, and having to lug this like I'm, like a Sherpa summiting Everest, onto a plane doesn't make sense. But I have no physical attachment to the copy of the book. I have a physical attachment to, not a physical, but a mental attachment, if you will, to the story or the author. I like that person's work. Now, comics is different, though. There is an art that's there to be consumed along with the story. So it's a mixture of both. So that becomes a question. Can you reduce it to something digital? I don't know. I mean, is something lost there? That, music, same thing. I mean, think about it. Music, it's just a convenience of carrying. Yep. All right. A little bit before your time, I had a Walkman. Okay. Actually, my mom wouldn't buy me one. It ended up being, one of the Toshiba knockoff Walkmans. Okay. This thing was so big, it had like a carrying strap. Okay, if I swung that around, smacked you in the head, that would be assault with a deadly weapon. That thing was so heavy. Okay, put your cassette tape in. Ooh, look, you put this little special cassette and you get AM/FM radio, and everybody's like, "Wow, this is so cool." Now I can get the music off my phone. So the music itself is what has intrinsic value, not the form that you're delivering it in. But I believe comics is different. So I'm not saying I know what's going to happen, but I think comics are definitely different than and Dave's brought up webtoons in the I think he on your show yesterday he posted a bunch of stuff.
I was gonna say I have no idea what that is. I forgot to look it up. I was gonna look it up yesterday, but I don't think I've even ever heard of it.
So I have a webtoon account, and it's
I'm looking
just a
it up
place where you
now.
can go and you can read. It's like, you ever see those toilet paper rolls where they have people's Twitter accounts printed on them?
Yeah, I have.
I don't want
I
to
actually have
diminish
not,
it that way, but it's like one big long scroll of stuff. So you read it from top to bottom, and it's just panel after panel after panel, or page after page after page. And it's done constructed differently than a comic book. It's its own thing. It's maybe closer to a manga style presentation. But I have friends who make comics who have switched over to webtoon because it's actually a better presentation of their style. I think webtoon has its own place, the same as manga has its own place, separate from comic books, as it were.
It kind of looks like manga, just like doing a quick glance at it.
A lot of the content there is manga style, but there are certainly more traditional comic book style stories there. And I can, AR, if you want, I can send you some examples. But it's its own thing, because even the way you have to create it is different than you would create a comic book.
So is this all like by creators? This isn't like for example, like a Marvel Unlimited app, like where it's like actual Marvels on it. This is all like fan created stuff.
There are companies on there, like Saturday AM is a good example, but they're doing something different from what Dynamite is doing. Mm-hmm. They're more of a manga company. So there are definitely some of these things on there, but again, I think it's comparing rock and roll to salsa to jazz. Like they're three different things, even though they're the same thing. Webtoon is a still developing form of visual narrative storytelling.
It does look cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to throw a CGC book out there, and then I've got a curve actually to throw at everybody on this discussion and see what everybody's thoughts are. All right, so we have Suicide Squad #1, Dynamic Forces Edition, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8, suggested retail of $89.99. We have it tonight as one of our 5-star for $50 books. All right, and that is a buy it now item. For those that may be watching for the first time, we have two types of claim deals. One is buy it now. We'll tell you what the price is. First person to claim it takes it. And then we have best offer at the end of the night. We'll start off at a certain dollar amount, and like what's happening with Statue, and the best claim, best offer at $7.55, we'll take it. All right. So Neil, what's going on, buddy? So we're doing something new. If you're just joining us, as you may or may not have heard, I am quarantining with my adult daughter, unfortunately, my college student daughter, and she tested positive, but I tested negative, so that's definitely good news. But out of the abundance of caution, I'm staying out of the office this week, just so we're taking no chances, honestly. Don't want to get anybody else ill. Right. So thanks to technology, we're doing it a little different. So I'm not physically with the books. Kyle's doing a great job making sure we get the photos up there. But we're going to go to break in a few minutes. But I want to throw this thought out there. Okay, kind of related to Dave's initial comments, actually starting yesterday. Okay. So let's imagine worst case scenario, and the physical published printed comic just starts to disappear. Okay, and everybody now consumes their stories digitally, and I'm wrong, and that it doesn't matter the delivery method like a book. for comics. Okay, but I gotta remind everybody they don't grade books. Okay, think about that one. Again, a very different industry. You know, the printed book as opposed to what we're talking about here. But if they do disappear, okay, do signed books, slab books, slab graded books, CCAs, formerly known as remarked sketch covers, do they go up or down in value? So there's a question there. So let's see. Let me get that down. So Nilo, got you down, buddy. You're claiming the Suicide Squad #1, CGC 9.8. Got you down, buddy.
So to kind of elaborate on what you were saying about that.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so to kind of just elaborate on it, I even like with what Kyle said, I think that going forward, if they happen to do a subscription service and then make like collected editions, like actual, hardcover paperback format, I think that's the smartest route. But I don't think that's actually ever going to happen. I think there's too much, not just money, but just cool things that happen with, just comic books existing. Look at all the Comic Cons, people who actually take all these collections there. All the artists that show up, they do blank sketch covers. You can get signed books. You can, pretty much buy whatever you want at a lot of these cons. They have, you see AF-15 there, Hulk issue #1s. And if they stop, printing books like that, that's not just going to eliminate physical copies going forward, but it's just going to eliminate, this is my opinion, it's really going to eliminate just that entire thing that you can do. Cons are going to start to go away because then what? It's just going to be, maybe a whole cosplay thing. Maybe people show up, like the actors that still do the signings, but the atmosphere is going to be completely different. And I think, I don't know. I just don't think they're going to go away from physical copies anytime soon.
But that's kind of why I threw it out there, because, beyond that, what does it do to the value of the signed comics? Stuff, just all the collectibles involved in the comic book world. What happens to those? Do they rise in value or fall in value? I don't know. That's why I'm kind of throwing it out there. But I kind of agree with you. I believe that the key question is, does the book itself have an intrinsic value to people? Now, I understand why, novels don't. I understand why music doesn't. But again, it's the content that people are looking for in those two arenas, the story or the song, whatever it may be. How you deliver it to me doesn't really matter. So the danger becomes, I know that there are people that collect LPs now, but overall, if you look at the height of LP sales when that was the common way to play your music, as opposed to today, the individual LP out there has become an antique. So yes, it may rise in value, but overall LP sales are going to be down.
Yeah.
So I think that's the interesting mix that we're looking for, and I think the difference really in comics is that the physical medium has a collectability and will traditionally want it. But I also understand what Dave's saying is that you're going to soon get to a generation that never really experienced it. Okay.
That too.
All right. So I have a coworker who will remain unnamed. And when you walk by that person and they're typing on their keyboard, I mean, he's banging that keyboard. You could hear it. Okay. It's almost like Morse code. Now, he is of my generation. So when we were in high school, we actually took typing on manual typewriters. So I don't do it anymore, but he still does, because you used to have to hit those keys really hard to get it to type, right? So the reason I bring up that story is that, well, you talk to my daughter. My daughter's never even, I don't think she's ever, except maybe in pictures, she's ever seen a typewriter. There was no point for her to ever see a typewriter. So, is that the route that happens, or does it truly have its own value that the younger generation will pick up? I don't know that.
Yeah, that really is a tough one.
Yeah, I think that's where you kind of have to figure out where that dividing line is.
I just think the industry's too big, just in general. All the different publishers, the comic books, the Comic Cons, just everything that entails a comic book and the industry. I just think it's too big, and making it go straight to digital, I think that would really hurt the hobby. It would turn a lot of people off, but at the same time, like Dave said too, do a lot of young people even read comic books? So it's a
So,
tough one.
yeah, that becomes a question.
Yeah.
Lars, man, class of '88. So you took typing class as well. That's guaranteed. All right, so let's take a look. We did Infinite Frontier. Let's do. Should we do another CCA? Do we have another CCA to do?
I was gonna say I didn't see any other one.
I thought we had one more, but I may be wrong. I may have miscounted. It's hard. I really like being able, when I put these lists together, I really like being able to physically touch the books and look at them. I don't know.
I don't have an image for another CCA.
All right, so we are done with CCAs. We didn't pull enough. Bummer. All right. You know what? Let's throw this up before we have to go to break. Wolverine #1, signed by Benjamin Percy. Suggested retail $39.99, and we have it. We have one available for $29.99 tonight.
Cool.
So let me see here. Do we have any other best offers I want to throw out? Oh yes, there is another best offer. You know what? We'll do that one when we come back from our second break. But Lars Man is claiming Wolverine. Gotcha, buddy. All right, so Lars Man is claiming Wolverine. All right, cool. It's yours, buddy. I don't know, but it's definitely an interesting question. So, you know what? It's time for our second break. Stay with us. We're talking about the future of comics. I mean, interesting topic brought up by our buddy Dave Cerrone. So, Kyle will take us out and stay with us. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Hey, I'm Garrett Gunn. You might know me from Good Boy, Warhorns, Franklin and Ghost, and you're watching The Experience.
Oh, Rex is gone.
Well, apparently Rex had to go to the kitchen or, get a beer out of the fridge or something. Who knows? So he didn't make it back in time, but we're back. And I think I have one last thing I want to say on this kind of topic we were talking about the future of comics. And it's one of those things that it's the same question we're asking ourselves about the future of the pandemic and things.
Sorry, guys. Somebody forgot to refill the water reservoir on a Keurig. Can't imagine who that. I hate it when the cats use the Keurig without permission. So it took a little longer than. Was that a shorter break, Kyle? I felt short.
No. It may have been because I got to go to the bathroom real bad. But But
As you
no,
can
I just
see
wanted
here,
to say,
we are true professionals. I'm sure
Right.
we're going to be getting a call from NBC any day now, people.
right.
Okay, to take
But I
over
just wanted,
the Today Show.
right. I just wanted to say that the speculation on this stuff really is one of those. There's no way to know what tomorrow is going to look like. It's the same with the pandemic, same with comics, same with music.
Well, that's true
There's
about anything.
we can't really predict. Like I said, tomorrow, Disney could make an announcement about Marvel, and we have no way of knowing.
Yep.
Right, and it would
I thought-
change the entire landscape of the future completely. And so all we can keep doing is having this conversation about, is the manga method the best method going forward? Is digital the best method? Is Webtoon, is what we're doing now, is some sort of third kind of subscription service the best method? And as long as I think we keep having the conversation, everybody comes to the table with new ideas, I think what you'll see is that the fandom and the hobby stays strong because people are actively working to keep it that way.
So for a minute there, I thought Kyle was going to break out into song like Annie because he said tomorrow, and then I thought he was going to start. Which, hey, that would have been interesting, right? I agree with that statement.
If I could have the career of half of the women who played Annie on Broadway, I would take it. Most of them have gone on to be big-time movie stars. Most of them have gone on to be big-time movie.
Breaking out into the song tomorrow, I can't stop him. He's all the way in Ohio. I'm in New Jersey. So Nick has requested or demanded that we show the deluxe mega kit again. So let's go ahead and throw that up again. So it is the deluxe mega mix set, suggested retail of $280. Tonight we have it for $139.99. And let me click onto my handy dandy spreadsheet because I cut it off. Let's see here.
I love that Deadpool.
This well, but all right. So it includes Suicide Squad, King Shark #1, signed by Tim Seeley. Venom #22, signed in silver by Donnie Cates. Deadpool and the Mercs for Money #1, signed and remarked by Adam and Rebecca Cleveland. Batman, The Adventures Continue #1, CGC rated, guaranteed 9.8. So you're going to get all 4 books for $139.99, like 50% off, right? So Nick just had a veggie sandwich with feta cheese. I think Nick should have some chicken soup personally, but so Nick says he thinks that is the first mix of DC and Marvel packages. I think it might be.
I think so too.
It absolutely might be. Let's see. Adrian, our buddy Adrian, I just learned Cap America lies Ohio. You shouldn't hate on Ohio. It would upset him. I in no way tried to disparage the state of Ohio. So I want to say that straight up. Okay. So Ohioans, don't come looking for me. I in no way was disparaging the state of Ohio. I believe that was Kyle, and he can do that because he actually lives in the state. You can only disparage the state that you actually reside in.
I do have to say, though, that is actually probably one of my least favorite states that I have to drive through.
Ohio?
Yeah. The construction,
okay, so
the roads, the traffic.
It's Alec from AR Comics that's disparaging the state of Ohio.
I just said the driving through it was pretty brutal.
Alec, drive through Michigan sometime.
I was going to say, that one wasn't on the drive home, though.
Yeah, but, it's bad here. It's worse there.
Oh my God. I honestly couldn't even imagine. Like your construction, even the signs that were saying like, oh yeah, this is the detour, that was closed off too. It's like,
we don't know where we're going. Ohio, the way you get around in Ohio is if you get to the third barn, you've gone too far. But no, it's Michigan is worse because they don't believe in snowplows.
Oh my God.
They just salt everything like crazy. So their road is it's like driving on the moon.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Yeah. You got to have potholes aplenty there.
That state gets so much snow too, don't they? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, here?
I think so. No, Michigan.
Oh, Michigan gets a ton of snow.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense that they would have plows.
No, they don't believe in snowplows.
I feel like this area is very good with snow, like PA, Jersey, probably New York, like this whole little like this area.
Definitely not New Jersey.
Really?
Not New Jersey. Definitely not Virginia. Yeah, right.
Oh, that's been rough for them.
Oh man, those poor people. But just so everybody knows, so Nick threw up and reduced the deluxe mega mix set to $119.99.
Oh, that man just had a veggie sandwich. And he said he just had a veggie sandwich too.
Faded cheese. Should have stuck with the chicken soup.
Nick, don't make me put you in timeout so you'll get some rest. We need to get you healthy, so I will put you in timeout if it means you go to sleep.
Man,
so all right. Let's see. What should we do next? You know what? Let's do a recap real quick.
I was gonna say I know what I want to see next whenever you're good for it.
All right. Well, you get to call the next one. Let me do the recap real quick, and then you pick the next book there.
I already got it.
All right. So we still have the Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles, cover price of $3.99 or higher. So suggested retail of $40, and we have it as always for $5, so 50 cents a book. And that's always available as a kind of a thank you and to introduce people to new Dynamite titles if they haven't picked them up yet. And you really can't lose for 50 cents a book.
No.
The deluxe mega mix set, which includes, I got to go to my handy dandy spreadsheet. It didn't print out right. So hold on. So, all right. So the deluxe mega mix set includes Suicide Squad King Shark #1, signed by Tim Seeley, Venom #22, signed in silver by Donny Cates, Deadpool and the Mercs for Money #1, signed and commissioned art, formerly known as a Remark sketch cover by Adam and Rebecca Cleveland, Batman: The Adventures Continue #1, CGC guaranteed graded 9.8. It has a suggested retail value of $280. We were going to do it for $139.99. Then Nick came up and lowered the price to $119.99. All right, so we have that available. All right, so Ron is claiming the Mega Mix set. Gotcha, Ron. I got you down here. All right, so that is gone. So then we did Infinite Frontier #1, signed by Joshua Williamson. Suggested retail of $49.99, and we have one available for $39.99. Let's see, and the Wolverine #1 was played by Lars Mann. Oh, we had the Black Bat #1, high-end Marcos Martin Virgin Art ultra limited edition cover, suggested retail of $50, and it is one of our best offer books starting at $10. Then we had, let's see, Deadpool and oh no, that was claimed by Lars Mann. Oh, that was claimed by Preston. That was claimed by Nilo. You know what? Let's do another. Wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, okay, Lars Mann. I'll put you down. Yeah, sorry. Ron beat you to it. I guess his internet improved from the last show. Let's see,
I remember that he was behind.
I think he was having internet issues.
Yeah,
all right, Lars Mann. I'm going to put you down for a 10-pack, my friend. So I got you down for one of those. All right. So let's see. Oh, and the statue, the Red Sonja Fred Thorne statue. Currently, John Spilios, correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, is still in the lead at 160. So I thought we had another best offer.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Nick's done for the night. Let me see here. I know we had a best offer. Oh, here we go. So it is Detective Comics #1000, Dynamic Forces exclusive, wraparound art variant cover by Dan Jurgens and Kevin Nolan, signed by Kevin Nolan. Suggested retail of $59.99. It is going to be one of our best offer books of the night, starting at $10. So the person with the best offer at $7.55 will walk away with it.
Nice.
And all right. So yes, Nick says, thank you, everyone. The best fans in the world. Absolutely. I love doing it. This is the best part of my job. What's that?
I said Nick's the man.
So
there's no one else out there. There's no one else out there like that's involved with comic books and comic book publishing that's just like all about just the community. And that's such an awesome, like unique thing. So
all right. So Lars Mann went up to 170 on the statue. And
John went up to
John Spilios went to 180 on the statue. So currently John Spilios is in the lead. Okay. And Lars Mann is claiming Detective, let me see, 1,000. Now, just $20. Okay, gotcha. All right, so Lars Mann, you are in the lead at $20. Okay. And oh, thank you for saying so, Lars man. I think it's awesome. Lars man says, I think it's awesome how accessible you guys are. You know, we're just normal comic book guys, just kind of hanging out. Really, I mean, it probably isn't too much different than some people you run in at your LCS. Well, certainly in Alex's case, it's absolutely true because you know he's working at his old LCS when he was from the area. For me, it's just hanging out at the LCS and talking about comics and whatever else comes to mind. Really, it's you guys, the viewers, that kind of make the show for us. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. The interesting conversation. My God, we must have spent 45 minutes, if not longer, based on something that Dave had thrown up on the chats starting yesterday on Alex show, raising a question. And Triple B, his power just went out. Now I'm in the watching. I'm sorry, buddy, your power went out. I mean, you shouldn't be getting any more storms right now. I think Triple B's from New York. I thought. Oh, that's right. We were talking about all those people trapped on I-95 in Virginia. Oh my God!
I didn't even know that happened until my girlfriend showed me a video of it. I was like, they got hit with that?
Yeah, I mean, some people I've heard from anywhere from 12 to 20 hours. Some people were trapped there.
I mean, I saw a few that they were saying. I think the lady that was being interviewed was like 11 hours deep at the time. I was like, "Whoa,
that's craziness."
That is.
That's nuts. I feel very bad for anybody who got trapped in there, but I don't know. Maybe people pay attention. You know, when the newsman. Now, granted, they're wrong a lot. Okay, don't get me. You know, I mean, but when they say don't go on the roads, don't go on the roads, man.
It really is like sometimes that simple. When they make this announcement like, "Hey, we're supposed to get really bad weather. Don't drive." People drive, and then boom. Oh, I got stuck. What do you? I don't know. It's sometimes it's that easy, but I don't stay up to date on the news either. To be honest, I don't look at the weather. I don't look at things that are happening. I just kind of I got tunnel vision with a lot of things. I just go about my day.
I put why you didn't know about the COVID rapid test, my friend.
I keep my phone on do not disturb, and then whenever I'm good and ready to look at my phone, that's when I check my phone.
Dude, that's the first thing I do. Cup of coffee and look at the news. See what blew up today.
I mean, this might be me. I don't know. Maybe I got a tin hat on right now, but I don't trust the news for almost anything. I feel like they all have their own objectives. Each news has something that they want to push. I don't know. That just might be me, the conspiracy theorist in me, but I don't know.
Tilt your head a little bit to the left, Alec. Your tin hat's throwing a reflection from the light. No, I'm kidding, buddy. So Lars, man, let me. Yeah, we are running behind. Actually, a couple of things kind of hit us. We were running behind, you know, due to people being out during the holidays. But I'll make sure after the show, I'll send an email to the accounting department. And then the second problem is, we've had to deal with some COVID issues at the office. Unfortunately, my daughter tested positive. I tested negative, but we're quarantining, out of an overabundance of caution. Nick's not feeling well, although it's, I don't know if he's been tested or not. But he didn't sound too great yesterday when I spoke to him. Definitely battling something. So we've been a little shorthanded. So I apologize, Lars, man, but you will absolutely. I will make sure that they get that out to you. And Kyle, if you don't mind, if you could throw up the link for the submission form as well. So hopefully we can get caught up. Hopefully I'll get the all clear. Hopefully I'll get the all clear to return to the office on Lars, man. No way, buddy. Hopefully I get the all clear to return to the office on Monday. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, because I don't know if I can last another week in the house locked up like this. I'm starting to get a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I don't blame you. That's I mean, people in the beginning, people always say, "Oh yeah, we're working from home, we're being from home," but I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be like at home all the time. And I feel like I kind of am home all the time doing the stuff that I do, but right. I try to get out as much as I can. Like the mornings, I'm always out, but then by like 1 o'clock, I'm typically back here getting everything situated.
It's a different feeling when you're kind of feeling like you have to be inside. So that kind of changes things, So it's kind of a different experience, and I want to be careful. Although CDC says I can go out, but I don't want I don't really want to chance it too much. You know, you never know. I mean, that's a thing. It's like, you know, beyond all the politics that this has become, you know, it's just about, you know, responsibility to fellow man. You know, I don't know who I run into wherever I'm at. You know, I may never know. You know, that's a really, really horrific part is, you know, I don't want to get somebody sick who then gets somebody who's older or immunocompromised and their family gets sick and then they die. I mean, you know, that's kind of crap. I don't need my karma wagon. Believe me, my karma wagon already got a trailer hitched to the back of it. I got enough of it going on.
That's literally how I looked at it. Like from the start, they said, you know, if you're feeling sick, stay home. Well, duh, I'm sick. Why would I go out? And then they also started saying, well, you're positive, but you don't show anything. Okay, cool. I'm still going to stay home because, like you said, I can get someone else sick. I could, you know, maybe they're older. Maybe they could, you know, they could die from it. It could really affect them. Why would I just be, you know, just say, screw it. I'm just going to do whatever I want anyway. I don't know. I'd say from the start, it was a lot of common sense things that you just need to just be a smart person about.
Yeah. So Keith and Jones, yeah, he's still, I guess, in his area with COVID. And then Preston says a third of his office is either out with COVID or are being tested. So, yeah, this time around it's been really kind of funky. I mean, you know, I feel bad. I'm very happy that actually, you know, I complain a lot, you know, but you guys know me well enough now. But, you know, about my 21-year-old daughter, I'm glad that this did not happen when she was younger. You know, when I was primary caretaker, you know, just getting childcare and all that stuff, that's not easy. I'm watching parents, you know, struggling through that now. So, you know, from that perspective, at least I'm glad I'm not dealing with that. But, you know, but it's tough. But go ahead, Kyle. What do you got there?
Well, I just wanted to bring up AR had said he had a book he wanted to see, and I'm trying to be the Dave Cerrone squirrel guy. You know, since you don't have Amy to threaten you with, you know, a stick or something.
That is a good point. AR, what was the book that you wanted to pick, my friend?
I was going to say, you can't see Dave, but I'm sure Dave's also in the same room as Kyle. You just couldn't see the gun that's being held up to him. No, but I got the ASM 545, the One More Day, Part 404.
Oh, signed by Joe Quesada?
I love that cover so much. Right. It's so simple and so awesome.
So, Amazing Spider-Man number 545, One More Day, Part 4, signed by Joe Quesada, which is a almost impossible signature to get these days. So we have the one available for $49.99. That was a good call, Alec.
That was a really big spec book for like a hot second. I don't know where it's at right now, but I mean, a signed copy of it. When I went to, I think it was either Dallas Fan Expo or the Oklahoma City Comic-Con that I went to. Someone found that in like the dollar bin and they were like freaking out. And I was like, what the hell did he just grab? And he pulled out, he was like, yo, this is a huge book right now. And I saw the cover and I was like, all right, I know what that is. And
Lars claimed it.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did. You got it, Lars, man.
So I just was going to bring it up while we were talking about it. Did either of you guys see Joe Quesada get the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Ringos?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, he got a Lifetime Achievement Award, and Christopher Priest introduced him by reading the letter Priest had written to DC Publishing, establishing Joe Quesada's page rate when he hired Joe for his first published work. Wow. Like, that was the introduction he gave. He still had the letter.
That's pretty cool.
And he told stories about how nobody thought Joe Quesada would be anything because he looked like he was a crackhead and all this other kind of stuff. But his art was amazing, so they hired him, and turns out they were right. So Christopher Priest did a great job of introducing him, and he gave a great speech about Mike Wieringo and, you know, honesty in comics and stuff. It was really cool. If you get a chance, it's on YouTube from the Ringo Awards.
I'll definitely check it out. So let's see. All right. Yeah, I know we're not like going through them super fast tonight. My apologies for that. You know, we're just trying something different because we're forced to. Let me see. Lars, man, I have some really cool DF signatures even above Stan and Joe Simon. Oh, yeah. I don't know. We'd have to ask Nick. And unfortunately, I think he's retired for the evening, which is probably a good thing for him.
Yeah, I think he left.
Yeah, I don't know if we even have any Jack Kirby signed stuff left. If so, it might be Nick's personal possession at this point.
I was gonna say, I'm sure he's got something, but it's probably his.
Yeah, I would guess. Lance, what's going on? Thanks for joining us, my friend. So I mean, he had that Jack Kirby signing. I don't know how many he did after that, but that was way back in the days during Home Shopping Network. I think they were. I'm going to disappear out of the picture because when I plugged in my printer, I didn't plug in the power cord for my computer. Please continue.
So I will help Rex for a minute. We talked about spec books. Nick gave us another spec book to put on today. A book that was getting spec'd on really hard for a minute, and I don't know where it's at now. I haven't paid attention, but Teen Titans 20. This book was really hot for a minute. It was a big spec book. I remember when it came out, and like a bunch of people I never heard of came into the store and were like, "Can I buy this book? Can I buy 30 copies?" I don't understand why, but sure. So this is Teen Titans 20, signed by Bernard Chang. MSRP $29.99. We're going to do it at $29.99 because that's still a steal on this book right now.
To be honest, I'm not sure why it doesn't get. I mean, I'm not a big DC person, but I do, understand the importance of this one. I mean, that's a lot of first appearances in that book, but the big one is Lobo's daughter, Crush. I mean, that should say something. If you watch any of my videos, I don't know anything about DC, but I know exactly what this book is. So, I don't know. Put that, put two and two together. It should be a reasonable book. But I'm not sure why it's not more popular.
I misread Lars Mann's comment. So he has the DF Jack Kirby signature. So that's awesome. Because I'm almost certain that we're completely sold out. Lance, okay, so Lance, thanks for joining us. For any new viewers out there, basically Kyle will throw up a submission form, but the way to claim something is to claim it in the chats. We have two types. We have a buy it now, which is we'll throw up the price, and the first person to claim it in the chats, they walk away with it. And then we have the the best offer of the night claims, and we'll throw that up with a starting price, and then whoever has the best offer at 7:55, 5 minutes before the show ends, wins that item. All right, and then after you claim and win something, there's a submission form that Kyle will throw up the link for when he gets a chance. Please click on that link, fill out the information so we have, if you're not using your real name in the chats, also your ship to address. All right, so Preston is claiming the Teen Titans. Gotcha, buddy.
It's a good pickup.
Preston. Awesome. Great pickup there, bud. All right. So, okay. You know what? I'm going to pick one. All right. So we have X-Men Legends #4, Rob Liefeld, Deadpool 30th anniversary variant, signed and read by Walter and Louise Simonson. All right. Those are a couple of foundational creators.
Say that again, Rex. What book were we doing? I'm sorry, I was doing another thing.
No problem, buddy. X-Men Legends #4, Rob Liefeld, Deadpool 30th anniversary variant, signed in red by Walter and Louise Simonson. And we have suggested retail of $70, and we have it tonight for $43, and we have only the one available. So, and I love that cover too. So I mean, I know we kind of just stopped, but it's interesting thinking about where the comic collecting, reading, the whole hobby is going to head down the road. Will it convert to digital? Music had happened real fast. Okay, if you noticed, I mean, we went from LPs and cassettes for the longest time. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember people, that were real music aficionados. They had reel-to-reel tape decks in their house with their big, massive, stereo set with the turntable on top, and check out my reel-to-reel, and they would make their mixtapes, and the quality would be much higher, than the rest of us. But it's comic collecting is my favorite drinking game. That could get dangerous, Lars, man. You could end up with a lot of comics that way. So you know,
including that X-Men Legends, by the way.
What's that now?
Including that X-Men Legends that he just claimed.
Including, let me see, Lars Band claims thank you very much, Kyle. All right, got you down for that one as well, Lars Band. I bet Lars Band is drinking right now. I was thinking about that. I was going to come on and after a few drinks and see how that went, but who wants to see me falling asleep at the computer at 7:30? Nobody wants to see that. That's ugly. That's ugly. People will watch this show as well. Yeah. So I music. I moved so fast. I remember. So we went from that for the longest time. I think LP records or even phonographs, we want to call it that, where the technologies kind of stayed static. And they would refine like little parts, like the the stylus needle that you would buy for your turntable. They would get real expensive, and stereo systems would get real expensive, and for a marginal kind of improvement in the quality of the sound, and then all of a sudden it was just a massive leap. So all of a sudden you go from cassettes, and then CDs started to come out, laser discs started to come out, and for a minute there were these things called DATs, digital audio tapes, which were supposedly a superior, smaller version of the cassette, and that was around, and that was all the wave.
I actually don't remember that.
Yeah. I still have some DATs.
That went the way of the dinosaur and the Betamax. It just had that minute, like 8-track, a minute, and then and then it just disappeared.
I worked at one of the oldest continually operating rock and roll stations in the country right out of college. And they had them because they were still using them for certain songs, like Inagata Devita and some of these, that they hadn't been converted over to the digital format they were using, or carts, because they were played so rarely. So they still had them.
Right.
So I stole a bunch when they were getting rid of them. I actually, when they got rid of all the vinyl, I got a bunch of the vinyl out of it. So it
almost seemed like that all happened around the same time that CDs became popular, Mm-hmm. And then I think the problem with the DATs were the equipment to play the music was so expensive. It just everybody's like, well, I'll just buy the CD, and just technology just kind of went with it.
There was a time. And AR may remember this one, between when or after the iPad came out, or iPod came out, where digital music was still in this kind of weird infancy, where they were selling digital digital copies of records on SD cards.
I remember that.
So, I think I remember that.
And there was a movement to put SD card readers in MP3 players, and then iTunes was like, hey, or you could just load it onto your computer. And iTunes won because nobody wanted to go out and buy an SD card reader just to listen to a Britney Spears record.
Right. And SD cards are so small, they're easily lost. That's the other problem. Could you imagine if you have to switch the cards in something? I mean, usually it's a permanent thing that you don't really have to deal with on a frequent basis. But imagine with music, I want to put in my other group of music, and then you got to throw the SD card in your pocket. I mean, my God, you'd be losing them all the time. It became too small, which is interesting. But 7:29, so it's time for our last break. So Kyle will take us out to our last break. Stay with us. We've got another half hour to go.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Here we go. We're back for our last half hour tonight. So this has been interesting and fun. A little bit different from what I'm used to, you know.
That's good conversation tonight.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, might as well. I mean, I think we've covered a wide range of topics. We were talking about the quick evolution of digital music, some of the things that appeared for about a minute and became a dinosaur not too long after that.
Now I did have to bring something up with that, only because we're talking about that, and then Kyle said a Britney Spears album. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but those weird little music things that they had at McDonald's for like a hot minute, it was like a Britney Spears couple songs, and then they also had, I think it was NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, like these little tiny things, honestly, like, I don't know, maybe like that big. And I think it came with headphones too, and it had, I think, one song on it. And I don't know, it was from McDonald's though. I don't know what they were called.
Well, think about how small the original iPods were. You know, that's kind of what's interesting was that.
Well, the original iPods were huge, weren't they?
No, they were small. I mean, you can only load like a small amount of songs and stuff.
The first iPods were huge.
Yeah, the big ass.
I mean, they were huge.
I'm thinking of a Nano.
But nobody was buying them. Like, they were huge, and it was a black and white screen. It was like looking at a DOS computer.
Yeah,
I remember in the beginning, people thought they were so
when the
stupid.
Nano happened. They took off when the Nano happened.
Right, and then things became smaller for a time, and then I guess as digital music kind of matured, you know, that's the thing. Again, it was. I think I don't really find that music necessarily and its growth in the digital age necessarily is similar to what's happening with comics. I don't see it that way because
I don't think so either.
Yeah, because all you want is we really didn't care about how the delivery. I mean, we did to a certain degree, but we didn't. We didn't really care how the delivery of music came to us. Okay, you know, but we wanted the best quality that there was. Oh, Sheldon still has a Zune.
I forgot about those.
I forgot about those too. I think what was important to us was the quality of the music, you know, and the portability of the music. That was the key. Okay. And believe me, I mean, I'm as old school as they come. I have a neighbor. You know, my daughter and I, we moved here when she was 1. She's 20 now. So I've lived in this house for about 21 years. And I have this neighbor, and he actually is older than I am, he and his wife. And he'll sit out there on a nice day with his golden retriever, and guess what he's working? He is working a AM/FM transistor radio. I kid you not. Okay. You know, little transistor radio he set up, him and the dog are out there while he's working on his laptop, ironically enough.
My dad still has one of those big silver boom boxes in his garage that he turns on.
I'm embarrassed to admit I have one of those as well.
He still uses it
somewhere in the basement. I don't use mine anymore. You know, there's certain conveniences that I've adopted due to technology. You know, thankfully. All right, I did want to get to a couple more of the CGC books before time runs out, and then let's do a CGC book, and then we're going to do a quick recap. All right, so we have Walking Dead number 168, variant cover, CGC graded 9.8, suggested retail of $89.99. It is one of our 5-star books at $50. All right, so and this is actually, I don't believe we have ever run this one before.
I haven't seen it on the show yet.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that we have not. Keith and Jones says, believe it or not, vinyl is a thing again.
Absolutely,
that is true.
My girlfriend still listens to her. She got one of them little fucking freaking record players, and she listens to it a lot. Honestly,
I
It's
again, I was at a friend's
60%
house.
of my con business now. When I set
Wait,
up
say
at
that again?
conventions, vinyl is 60% of my con business now. When I set up at Comic Cons,
Really?
No way.
vinyl is 60% of my revenue. Now
Damn, I
I'm
should have kept
selling.
all my vinyl.
When I sell comics, I'm selling. I might only sell 4 or 5 comics in a convention, but I'm selling $200 or $300 books at a pop. It's a different kind of thing. Whereas I'm selling vinyl, $5 a record. Like
I bet you
it's
there's
just a
not many
different
people
thing.
doing that either, though.
Right.
So
I'm
they
usually
probably-
the only one with anything. And
So
the
they
whole
see
reason I
you.
did it, Rex, and you'll appreciate this, is there's a lot of parents there with their kids, right?
Right.
And it's something for the dad whose daughter is waiting in line to meet the voice actor from the manga or the anime to flip through. It's the same reason I take sports cards.
Right.
It's
that's
like
that's
I don't care about like the sports cards. I'm selling good cards for pennies because it's just about getting the dad to stop and spend $5 rather than worrying about, oh well, I have this $2,000 Avengers that I need to try and sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point indeed. But yeah, I inherited my mom's collection of vinyl. She had stuff, the Platters, a whole bunch of Elvis. She loved Elvis.
My grandpa did too.
Yeah, but yeah, multiple moves and divorced later. It's hard to say where they're at now.
Real quick on this Walking Dead, though, guys, just real quick, I want to point out this is the Pride Month Walking Dead variant. Specifically, they did a whole bunch of these Walking Dead, or the whole bunch of the image variants that month with the Pride flag in them. They're very low print runs compared to the regular ones. So regular Walking Dead 168. I think this was a one, and you had to order at least 5 of the regular cover to get one of this. So but this was the Pride Month variant.
You know what? Let's do a quick recap while we're at it, and then we'll go to another book real quick. Infinite Frontier #1, signed by Joshua Williamson, still available. We have one available for $39.99. Let's see. That got claimed. Okay, Black Cat #1, high-end Marcos Martin Virgin Art Ultra Limited Edition cover. This is a best offer book at $10. Suggested retail of $50. Let's see. We had Doc Strange #55 at $10. Let's see. That one got claimed. And Walking Dead #168 variant cover, CGC graded 9.8. And let's see. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second. Detective Comics #1000, Dynamic Forces exclusive wraparound art cover by Dan Jurgens and Kevin Nolan, and signed by Kevin Nolan. This is a best offer book, and Lars Mann is in the lead at $20. And then we had just talked about the Walking Dead. Oh, and then we had the statue, Red Sonja Frank Thorne, and John Spilios is in the lead at 180. And about everything else we presented. That's why it's such a short recap. Got claimed already. So let me see.
Yeah, that's cool. Most things got claimed, I feel like, right off the bat when it went up.
Yeah.
I have some other stuff. We have another CGC book that we haven't talked about.
Hold on. Black Cat, Preston. Let's see. Hold on, buddy. Okay, so Preston's in for 10. Nobody else has bid on that. So you are leading bid at 10.
Preston, just make sure you're aware it's Black Bat, not Black Cat.
Yes. Correct. So he's got it up there. But
it's
I'm
cool
sorry.
Cover.
It's a very cool cover.
So what did you want to go to, Kyle?
Well, I have this Wonder Woman CGC, Wonder Woman Rebirth #1.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. So Wonder Woman Rebirth #1, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8. $89.99 is suggested retail, and it is one of our 5-star books at $50. All right, so that is available tonight. And with us, obviously, anything that is CGC graded, the grade is guaranteed, because what you're looking at, that's a scan of the book you'll get at home. So, and Preston says, can you show the cover again? I assume that's Black Bat that he wants to see again, if you don't, when you get a second, Kyle. So, and yeah, just let Okay, Lars Mann is claiming Wonder Woman. Gotcha, buddy. So that is also gone off the list.
Nice.
All right, and Preston, yeah, let us know if you still want to bid the 10 for the black bag. But yeah, so music, I think really kind of took a unique turn when it in its growth in the digital era, and I think one of the things that kind of helped it was obviously the quick advancement of the cell phone. I mean, if you even imagine, I mean, just yesterday in the news, and I brought it up on your show, Alec, was that they were discontinuing the support and the OS for BlackBerry to clear the 3G, to eliminate 3G to clear space for the upcoming 5G.
That's crazy though.
It's all right, Preston, gotcha, buddy. I already have you down for that. So I don't think anybody planned it, but obviously the both kind of grew together, and it became, whereas for a period of time everything seemed to get smaller, but then you just had a bunch of smaller devices that you had to keep track of.
Yep.
And when your cell phones, I guess really I look at the iPhone is really the birth of that. No matter, whether you're an iPhone lover or not, I personally am, and I don't use a Mac. I think we had a conversation about this on your show as well. I'm just too old to learn, to learn how to operate a Mac. It's so different from Windows.
Which is crazy because it's super simple, and that's why I use it. It's like easy. I'm not good with technology.
I had a job, and everybody had to use a Mac. I really struggled. I really did. Because
That's crazy.
Well, it's like anything else. Once you learn to do things one way, sometimes it's hard to see it in a different way. But irregardless of that, I'm a big fan of the iPhone. I had the iPhone first, and then I had an Android, and then went back to the iPhone. And the reason was, because I just had so many issues with the Android and the apps, really more than anything else. It's like anything that you wanted to do on an Android, you needed an app to support that. Whereas with the iPhone, everything was more or less built in, but any app that you needed was really a legitimate app that you chose to have. It was just a cleaner device. The OS was just so much cleaner that I felt was coming out of the iPhone and Apple. But so I think that the music growth kind of went that way. But I don't think it's a good example for comics, and I don't think literature or novels is a good example either, because you can fall in love with a particular comic, on many levels. You can fall in love with the cover art. You can fall in love with the story that you love about it. You can fall in love with the condition of it. Okay. I mean, people go to cons and buy, they're looking for a certain title, but they're looking for a certain condition or higher. Okay. So a pristine example of that also becomes, very relevant. And I don't see how you get that with digital, but I forget who put in the chat boards earlier that the young will not continue with the appreciation of the physical book. That may be true. I mean, I can't say that it isn't. Maybe they'll fall in love with the storyline or whatever the case may be, but what ends up happening to the physical collecting of comics, which goes back to my original kind of left turn on this. What happens to the value of signed comics? What happens to the value of graded comics? Comic sketch cover art? What happens to that value of ones that already exist? What happens to original artwork? That becomes, because of enough of a generation passes and it truly converts, then that creates a whole different situation. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, is it good or is it bad? I don't know. From a book standpoint, novels or literature standpoint, people have been able to self-publish, write their own stuff and self-publish it. Thinking from a little guy standpoint, I think that's a positive development. So it's kind of changed that whole industry from the inside out. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the future holds. Obviously, nobody really does. But I would think it would be a shame if the physical print copy of a book eventually disappears. So Keith and Jones, that's interesting. That's how on Alex's show yesterday, we ended up drifting off into NFTs and then eventually crypto and that type of thing.
Really drifting off.
What's that?
I said really drifting off. That
Yeah,
just
really,
happened.
really went
and
off on a
then-
tangent there.
Yeah.
Just to remind everybody, 9 minutes left. If you are currently bidding on a best offer takes it tonight, please make sure to remember that there is approximately anywhere from 15 to 20-second delay sometimes. It kind of depends on our internet connection, your internet connection, but just want to make sure that we remind everybody of that. So Keith and Joe's tangible art holds its value. Digital art is trying to match that with NFTs. That is a very true statement. But as I mentioned yesterday on Alex's show, I believe, we're seeing an NFT boom. Obviously it's a very new concept of collectability. And as with anything that's so new, people are just throwing NFTs up anywhere. But when I'm seeing the ones that not that I necessarily understand the attraction of a particular NFT or another, I think what we're seeing is it's the one that the content is created. Whether you think the content's good or bad, it is a created content. I don't believe you can just take a digital image of something and throw it up and it's going to work. But go ahead, Kyle.
Have NFTs jumped the shark? And here's why I ask. I was at Dave & Buster's this weekend, and you can trade in tickets you win on Dave & Buster's games for NFT. I'm just, when you can get it at Dave & Buster's, has it jumped the shark?
I guess you have to look. I don't know. I mean, you bring up a very interesting point there, though. I don't think ultimately it's jumped the shark. I don't know if that's the best analogy. What I would say is that it is kind of like, let's go back to the music industry example. I think it's more like that, to be quite honest. I think right now NFTs is at the initial stage the same way music was when LPs and cassettes seemed to hold the lion's share of the market value, and then it started to move digitally. And I think that you look at NFT like you would music, and what NFT is experiencing right now is it's experiencing its DATs, it's experiencing its laser disc, it's experiencing all these different mediums with which to deliver it. But it's still the content that matters. So the NFTs that I see have value or seem to be, from a speculator standpoint, tends to be stuff that is still created content. It's not just taking an image and making an NFT and saying, hey, here it is, but I can see why the market's getting flooded. I do agree with that, but I don't know if it's necessarily jumped the shark. Are we looking at a new medium of collectibles? The one that we hadn't seen before, because crypto had a lot of its own, and crypto is very different from NFTs. They're created the same way, but they're not the same thing.
No.
Okay. As I think we talked about it briefly on your show yesterday. So that really becomes a question. They're created the same way, but so's a comic book and a book, an omnibus hardcover or a hardcover first print of literature. They're created the same way. They're paper. They need to be published, and so you have to throw a hardcover on it, but they're not the same thing. They don't have the same value to each, to different markets, so to speak. And we talked about that in terms of Kindle and stuff. It's the story that I'm in love with, not the book itself. Whereas comics, I think, is different in that way. So I would answer Kyle's point this way: is that I think that what we're seeing is that shakeout. Okay, and we'll see, what direction NFTs are going to go. But I think they're here to stay.
I do too.
It's content relevant. It's going to be. Let me see. Joel says NFT are the new milk top collectibles. Yeah, right. Okay, so Lars Man is going 185 on the statue. Okay, so that puts Lars Man in the lead on the statue. I know we got to be running close to the deadline. So anybody else is going to get in on the statue, don't wait until it clicks to 0. There's always that delay time, so you don't want to get caught up in the delay. All righty. Let me see. And so I don't know. I mean, For me, it would be hard to see a comic collecting world that did not have the physical thing to collect. You know, not to say that the content isn't important because that's what makes a collectible. But on the other side of that point is, you know, does the physical book itself have an intrinsic value to it, to the collector, or will it to future generations? That question we don't know the answer to. You know, and does it go and, you know, very much like vinyl, you know, vinyl records? Does it take that kind of thing where it just kind of disappears off the face of the earth, people dump it, and then after a period of time? Okay, so John is up to 190 on the statue, and you know the question becomes: does it fall to the wayside? People, you know, just lose, you know, the copies just kind of disappear, that type of thing. And then it gains collectability again, you know, just like vinyls have after a period of time. That would be kind of sad. I mean, I don't believe that personally, and I have really, I can't sit here and give you any kind of factual evidence as to why I don't believe it. We could talk about it for another 2 hours. I'm sure there are other people that would have other opinions, and I'm okay with that. You know, I certainly understand that, but it just strikes me as one of those things. It's a real question. You know,
I think it'll be fine. Honestly, I'm not too worried about it. I know there's a lot of books out there right now. I know Marvel puts out a lot of stuff that some people might not care about, but the same thing can be said about other publishers too. You know, DC. I don't really know a lot about DC, so those books I'll let them stay. But you know, people put out books. You know, they put out a lot of different things. They want to see what sticks. And the same can be said from years ago with a lot of these runs. I mean, look at the 90s where they just started pumping all these books out that nobody really cared about. And then now you have a lot of people look back on that like, oh, the 90s, man, the comics in the 90s were kind of, it is what it is. Maybe, you know, they kept going. We had really good comics later. It just comes in waves. And that's why I said that earlier. I really don't think we have a problem with it. I don't think the physical copies are going to be going anywhere. But I mean, like we said before, you know, only time will tell. We don't know what the future is going to hold, but I'm sure back in the day they said the same exact thing. You know, even my generation, oh, well, these kids aren't reading as much. They're more interested in, you know, things that are digital. And it never happened then. So maybe it's going to go the same route.
Well, I mean, maybe, but I would say that the overpopulation of the 90s was a self-inflicted wound by the industry itself. You know, they saw that they could, I guess it was the birth of trying to manipulate the dialogue to the fans. You know, they killed off Superman, they broke Batman's back. They're like, "Ooh, look at this, it'll work." You know, fans will flock to it. National news channels will pick it up. You know, the death of Superman type thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, everybody thought, well, let's kill somebody or do something, you know, and advertise significant change of something, you know. So that was more self-inflicted. This is, I think, different. It feels different in the sense that it's not a self-inflicted thing. It is a technological change, you know. And in that, I think I see the similarities with music. You know, the guy who made the companies that invested all that money in the DAT. Yeah, I guarantee you, they didn't see it coming out this way. You know, they're thinking, DATs are going to take it over, man. People all have DAT players in their car, you know, instead of cassette recorders. And boy, did they get that one wrong. You know, so I think the problem is the technological change is being forced on the industry. And listen, it's taken a lot longer in comics than it has for books, music, anything else. And maybe that demonstrates that there's a stability there, that the physical book itself has some sort of, you know, intangible sort of value to people. So go ahead, Kyle.
All right, so we're out of time on our best offer books.
Gotcha. All right.
John winds up at 190 on the statue.
Yep. Got that.
And then on the Detective Comics goes to Lars for 20.
Yep. And then I think Larsman won. Oh no, that was Preston. I think Preston takes the Black Bat.
He does.
He does.
For $10.
Yes, sir. Let's
And that's all we got to in terms of best offers tonight.
Yeah, everything else was a buy it now situation. So there you go. So
cool. There's
that
one
was
more
easy
book
enough.
I wanted to pop up before we ended.
Go ahead. Call it.
And it's Deadpool number 7, 25th anniversary edition, signed by Fabian Nicieza.
Oh, that's an awesome cover.
That is an awesome cover.
Regularly $69.99, tonight only $50.
Great cover.
It's one of my favorite covers.
Fabian Nicieza, co-creator, obviously, with Rob Liefeld of Deadpool. So an opportunity signed in silver. I think I can't see the limited edition number. You might be able to see it more clearly than me.
4 of 25.
4 of 25. Tough signature to get. Signatures is just tough to get right now in general, obviously, because of the lack of cons or more so the lack of creators attending the cons. But that again, that's the reality we live in. That's why I'm broadcasting. We're doing a live stream from I'm doing it from home. But yeah, so as always, I want to thank all the fans out there. Our viewers. Let me see, Lars Man, Miko 35. Yeah, Lars Man. Unfortunately, this is a buy it now book. So you know what, Lars Man, you bought so much tonight. It's yours at 35 if you want it. All right, I'm drunk with power. Nick's sleeping, so I'm drunk with power. So Lars Man, it's yours for 35 if you want it, buddy. Just when you fill out the submission form, make sure you put it in there. Yeah, I want to thank our viewers. I mean, you guys really make the show. When we all started here, it was probably me and John, and you got it, Lars, man. Me and John and Kyle producing, and we really had no real idea the direction the show was going to take. And now over the last several months, it's kind of evolved and found its own. It's kind of found its own identity. And you viewers are really, especially we have a lot of regulars that come on here and watch us, like the Daves, the Rons, Lars Mans, the rest of the guys there, Triple B. Oh, Triple B's power's back. So Preston, just say Nick agreed. Yeah, there you go. I just said it on air. So we really appreciate it. I mean, you guys make the show. Really, best part of my job is doing this, and it's just really just like hanging out and talking for a couple hours, minus the beers. But if I keep doing it from home, then next show there may be a beer. Maybe we can get some sponsorship, Kyle.
I'm all for. We actually have a show that we want to do that we need a beer company or a booze company to sponsor.
That's actually something we should talk to John Cole about when he gets back.
Believe it or not, I'm already talking to somebody, but we've got an idea for a show that we need a booze company to sponsor. So maybe we can get him to sponsor 2 shows.
Cool.
Fantastic. So, Keith and Jones, thank you for saying that. Peace to you as well, my friend. So that is another week of COVID comic collectibles. I don't know what else. It's just I'm starting to lose. Like I'm starting to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I don't blame you. Too much time in the house, it'll do that.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I just and the weather hasn't been great either. So I can't even go out and take a walk. It's snowing and stuff. Not that I'm complaining. I was not caught in Virginia on I-95, so I really have nothing to complain about. But it is making me a little crazy. But as always, thank you, Kyle, for producing the show. Thank you, Alex, for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. We'll see you next week, Monday and Wednesday, 6 to 8 Eastern for Comic Collectables. Maybe John will be back. Hopefully, I'll be doing this from the office. So thanks, everybody. Be safe, and we'll see you next week.